Hi everybody, Patrick here from EngineeringShock.com, ElectronicLessons.com, and PaintballProps.com. This video will serve two purposes. This will show you how to put together the Megaman arm blaster gun circuitry. In addition, we're going to talk about the actual LED scroller board. And because I will be selling this separately, and I want to show you how it functions. So before we put this together, let me just quickly talk about the parts for the Megaman gun. When you order your Megaman gun circuitry, you can request an AC adapter if you want. I'll charge you something extra for like $6 or $7. But as the set comes on its own, it comes with a 1 watt, 8 ohm speaker, the Megaman LED scroller board, a set of female-to-female connector plugs, which interface the main LED board to the control board. The control board, it can be used for a lot of different things, but this I've customized specifically for the Megaman board. And we're going to use this plug to plug this rail into the back of the board. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But first of all, let's talk about the LED board. The back of the board has 8 pins. Hopefully you can see it. From the left, GND, which is ground, 5 volts, which is your supply. 5 volts should be plugged into that pin, and that will power the board as long as you have 5 volts on the second pin and ground on the left pin. Now what you'll notice is from there we have F, E, D, C, B, A, or from the other direction, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now each of those nodes controls 2 LEDs. So what I'm going to show you in just a quick second to give you a demonstration is I'm going to plug in 5 volts on the second pin, ground on the left pin, and then I'm going to apply 5 volts to these different pins to show you which LEDs light up. But that's how it's controlled. It is what essentially this is there are transistors, NPN transistors, that drive the LEDs through current limiting resistors. So let me quickly give you a demonstration of how it works before we actually plug it into the Megaman gun control board. So now I've got 5 volts on the second pin from the left, red, and ground, DC ground, on a black wire going to the first pin on the left, which is labeled GND for ground. And I've got a third wire here that will allow for me to prod the rest of the lines. Now right now, the device is powered up, but no LEDs are on. So let's start with F. Plug in F. Those 2 LEDs light up. And when I connect it to E, those 2 LEDs light up. D, those 2 LEDs light up. I'm just going to hold it here. Sorry if it's a little bit out of focus. C, so we're going in a clockwise motion here, as you can see. Next, B will be those 2. And lastly, these 2. So, F, E, D, C, B, A. And there you go. That's how you control it. And this is how we're controlling it through a microcontroller. Now, let's plug it into our Megaman gun. On the main board, there's a 10-pin header here, labeled 1, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, 5 volts ground. So ignore the pins 1 and 2 and connect A on the main board to A on the controller board using your connectors. And connect B to B, C to C, D to D, E to E, F to F, 5 volts to 5 volts, and ground to ground. Very easy to do. You don't even have to strip these wires. You don't have to strip them apart. You can basically just take your time, plug them into the header board, or the LED board, and take the other side and carefully plug them in neatly on the controller board. So, once we're done that, we're going to plug in our speaker. Once you're done that, we're just going to ignore the LED board for a second. You'll notice that there are 3 2-pin headers on the top labeled SPK, SIG out, and PWM. We want to take our speaker right here and take the 2-pin header connector and connect it to the 2 SPK pins on the left. Easy as pie. You're done. Now all you need is a power supply between 7 and 9 volts VDC. 10 volts will do as well. You won't harm it. I wouldn't use 12 volts. You can use 12 volts, but I wouldn't continually use the arm gun like over and over and over again at 12 volts, because then the regulator will get hot. As well, the internal amplifier and the audio chip will get hot. So now what we want to do is, you'll notice right here there's a V plus pin and a ground pin. Place your power supply 7 to 10 volts, anywhere in between, positive to the left pin, ground to the right. And then we're going to try our Megaman gun. Everything's powered up. Now, one thing I would like to note, there is a button on the main board, and if you want to make your button external and not on the board, what you can do is you can take another button, whatever button you want, as long as it's not an on-off switch, like a toggle switch, as long as it's a momentary switch, you can solder the button in parallel with this button so that both buttons will work, just in case you wanted to make your own custom button. I actually, when I make my own Mega Man costume this Halloween, I'm going to be using one of these. And if you want one of these to solder in parallel, you can ask me. I'll charge you $1 for it. Anyhow, let me press the button. Now, I apologize to those of you who had to go see this already. I have made 3 videos kind of documenting my progress through this. So there is the prototype, the final version, which is this, and this is the assembly video, and the video that talks about the main sensor board. So let me just show you one more time. Sorry about the focus. My camera certainly is not fantastic. If you want a much better demonstration, my last video is a much better demonstration of this. But really, because of the frame rate of my camera, you really don't get the full effect. It looks fantastic. And I talk about how I went through, the process of programming it. Anyhow, that is the Mega Man board. The assembly video, very easy to put together. The set, the only reason I don't ship it fully assembled, like put together, is because it's very difficult to ship like that. But yeah, one more time. This is the LED board. I'm going to be selling these separately. Controlled with a microcontroller. Thanks for watching, everyone.